it's Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. Everyone over the weekend who sent us pictures of their Cogsworth and Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast, we really loved seeing them, so thank you. So start of a new week. We've got some super stuff planned for you this week and I think you're going to absolutely love it. So we're going to start with a very fun robot. Let's get drawing. So I'm going to do this on a bit of a warm-up on my warm-up paper here. Today's painting, it's all about the squares. Can we see that? Lots and lots of squares on this robot. So let's warm up, holding the pencil nice and loosely, just over halfway up, and we're going to start with lines. And these lines are going to form our squares. Now, you don't have to turn your paper, but I always do. I just find it makes it much easier for me, but there we go. So all your square is just 4 lines joined together, so lots of lines. Got a couple of curves, a few curves here and there, so do a few curves just to help you out, but basically a nice set just to warm your arm up of squares. Right, let's draw this robot. So I'll start like I always do, just thinking, right, that's about halfway in my page, and I want to have just above that, I'm going to start with a line, and from that line I'm going to turn it into a nice big square, and that is going to be our robot's body. So this is a great little picture to do, and once you've cracked it, you might want to do lots and lots of robots, like an army of robots. You can sit in the garden in the beautiful weather and draw robots. So we've got another square on top, that's going to be his head, little gap in between, then another little gap here, and we want 2 squares here, and another 1 there, that's it. Another little gap, and then we're going to put in 2 rectangles. So it's a really nice, easy start for this robot. Lots of squares and rectangles, but we are going to have 2 curves. There we go, 1 and 2. So pause and pop in those first shapes. So now we're going to join these shapes together, and it's pretty simple here. 2 lines to join that there. 2 lines just slightly shorter coming in on these 2 squares, 1, 2, and then 2 circles here, 1, 2, that's going to be his knees. So that's all joined, and now let's come on and do the arms, and all we've got here is some lines coming down there, so 2 short, 1 long on either side, and then we've got the curve, and the curve's just going to be out and the same here. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to hold my pencil much more loosely. Can you see how loose I'm holding it? Get that nice curve in. And then we've got the hands are curves as well, so just smaller, but like that little sort of horseshoe shape there and round. So if you pause now and pop those in, and then we'll come back and finish up. So we're going to start at the top here, and what we want is a semicircle up there with a little circle on top and a line above. I'm going to do the same here on each side, but these are going to be slightly smaller. So 1, 2, and then a little semicircle and a line out. Now, if you want to add more different things to your robot, please do. We're going to put in the eyes. So we've got 2 circles, 1, 2, and then 2 lines over, and join it with a curve at the end. And then underneath, another 2 lines, 1, 2, joined with a curve. And that's our mouth. Now, what we're going to do when we come to colouring is we're going to have all these small lines in between, but I'm going to leave those for now. I'm going to do those when we come onto the colouring later. But if you come down, and the same on the arm, we're going to have all these little lines, which we will do with the watercolour pencils in a minute, or just your ordinary pencils if that's what you've got. So we're going to come in here like this, I'm going to put a little screen on his tummy here. So we've got a rectangle, and in the middle of the rectangle, just an up and down line like that. And 4 small circles, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the end of our robot drawing. And stick with us and see what we're going to do as we colour it in. So I'm going to start by actually doing the details in the middle of all these here. So I'm going to go first of all here with the yellow. Now you can do these any colour, this is your robot, so absolutely go for it in any colours you want. And here I'm going to put a circle inside, but I'm going to leave a little space around. And then take my brush and just very gently turn that to paint. So these are our watercolour pencils, which look like ordinary pencils, but they're not. This is the paint in them. I'm not going to worry about turning that bit to paint. And I'm going to do green here now. What I'm going to do is go quite heavy around the edge. And then I'm going to go heavy on there. Take my brush, and as soon as I touch the pigment, it's going to paint it, but it's going to leave those marks that I want. So I've got that covered in. And I'll do that one green there. So just going in the centre there. I'm going to do a red one here, but I'm going to come back to do the red later. As now I'm going to do all the blue. So there's my blue dot there. And I'm going to go around all of these things. Now how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go around the edges, but I'm not colouring it in. Can you see? So there, I'm going to take that, do a little spot at the end. Same here, around the edges, but not colouring in. Okay, and then if I take my little brush here, oh, still got the green on, dreadful. Needs to make sure your brush is clean. And can you see how that's taking the paint in, but it's keeping the nice edge, which is what I want. This is a great technique to use, for you to use with your watercolour pencils. And here's another one. So if I go here like that, and round the mouth, and I'm going to go like that with these little lines. And the same here, around the edge, and then some lines across. I can do that with these arms as well. Coming down. And then stripes all the way down, as if it's like, I don't know how I would say that. I'm thinking like a vacuum cleaner, you know how bendy it is, the tube in it. But I'm not going to colour it. But as soon as I turn it to water, these marks will all stay. Now, if you're doing this with felt tips, just use your imagination. And you can do stripes, you can do different colours. Can you see how I come down? So it's taking this lovely colour, but it's keeping the stripes. Then I'll use my smallest brush here on the mouth. And neck. So that's nearly all the blue done. The last blue bits I want to do are here on the legs. And the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, a few stripes down the middle. Same in the circles, I'm just going to go around the edges. I'm just going to put a little line at the bottom. And then I'll turn each of those to paint. And I'm going to just give it a minute or two to dry so that I can come back and put in the red without worrying that the red is going to make the, is going to run into the blue, because I don't want that. And we'll just come back in and finish it then with those. So this is all dried now, and I'm just going to finish it off with a little red bit here, and then the red I'm going to put around here. It's slightly different from what I did before because I want that to be stronger. I'm just going to go put a bit more pigment in. Same here, all around that. And what I'm going to do with my red here as well is go round so that there's like a little bit of white round each one. And then each square, And I will just pop in, before I turn it to paint, 2 blue eyes. And then all that's left to do, let's have a little bit more paint pigment on the page. So you can see I'm not colouring it neatly at all. I'm just getting it so that there's more paint on there. I'll start at the top. Oh dear. So there we go. I'm going to pretend that that was a lesson in cleaning your brush. I'll lift that off, you see? I'll put some more red paint there. Make sure it's clean. There we go, that's better. So he's looking slightly purple here, because although I've left it to dry, there's obviously a bit of blue still. I'm coming in and picking up all that red from around the edges. And the same here, so if I go into here, that'll really, can you see how that's really picked up the red on my brush? And then I can easily take it round here like that. Same here. So by just putting, you see I didn't colour the whole thing in, but just by putting the paint pigment onto the paper, the brush will just pick it up then. And it's really easy to paint with it. And if you were looking to see where you could get some of these pencils, we've tested them all out and we sell them on our online shop, which if you go to the Little Art School website and go to the shop page, you will be able to find them and order some of our fabulous pencils. And we hope you loved that robot. Hope you really enjoyed that robot. If you fancy having a go at the spaceman, take a look at what we've got planned for the seniors today. We will be back tomorrow where we've got some really beautiful pansies to draw and paint. So we will see you then.